Hello, everyone. It is a Monday night. It's the national championship of Star Wars, that is. But for real, I guess go Alabama. We got people on the team. We're excited tonight because we are talking all things High Republic Phase 2. Big news last week. We're going to take you through step by step. We got book reviews back. We got a little book review of our own. It's going to be a great show. We're so excited to see you. But I'm most excited to say to West many things. But first, to budget! Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Living Force UTD Network podcast celebrating tonight all things High Republic. I'm one of your hosts, Eric Eilerson, and joining me tonight for the last time before we all meet in person is the whole team, starting with Dr. Corey Helton.
I don't have the sound effects anymore. That was going to be the things.
That was, wow. Back in the day.
Yeah, back in the day. We were just talking about that. How our setups and cameras and faces and hairs have changed. Don't play that sound effect. I don't want that.
Don't you dare, Wes. I'm glad you're here, man. How you doing? Are you ready
for
this?
I'm good.
This show?
I'm excited for the show. I can't believe we're finally meeting in person, guys.
That's wild.
It's freaking wild. We have to talk about this a little down the road.
Yeah. Yes, we absolutely will. But before we do, of course, we need to hear the dulcet introductory tones of Dr. Charles Hankel.
Hey guys, I just want to point out that while everyone else here is using like 12 monitors on computers they built themselves, I'm still using the same little dinky laptop I was in that intro video. So, things haven't changed that much.
That's true. You keep us humble, but no one keeps me more humble than a person who is a pariah of greatness and reminds me every day I'm lesser than him. It's Wes Jenkins.
Where is he?
Wes Jenkins?
There he is!
Hello, everyone. Good to see you. So I had a little bit more color in my face. This is my old camera because the new one apparently stopped working right when we switched over to me. So we'll see how that all turns out when we get back to the 4-camera view.
Well, guys, we are having all kinds of technical problems tonight.
Okay, whose fault is that?
All this we thing is ridiculous.
Where's Wesley's gun?
Oh my goodness!
I'm telling you, this happens. Don't talk to me about technical problems, Mr. Wave Pad. All right.
That was Charles. That was the other white dude on this show.
That was me. I was using WavePad.
You were.
I don't know how many more times I can say sorry.
At least one more, and at least once more after that. But if you're listening and you're watching, you don't have to say sorry. I'll apologize to you. This is a weird intro, isn't it? But if you're new here, welcome to the Living Force. We, as I said, are a UTD Network podcast. We love all things Star Wars books and comics. If you're watching us on YouTube, make sure you like the video and be sure to hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you can see when we post all kinds of things on this lovely channel. And if you're listening to us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, whatever podcatcher of your choice, and you haven't, go ahead, leave us a rating and review if you like the show. Helps people to find us, helps spread the good word, helps bring people into our community. But before we get into the Star Wars talk of tonight, a couple things. Number one, a very large, joyous, happy birthday to our very own Jacob, also known as Spice Den, I think only in Discord now. But of the Cosmic Force, it is your birthday. You spent it with us, nerding out about Star Wars in Slack and over on Discord. So I hope you're having a great night, dude. Happy birthday. Yeah, that's what I got. It's a weird year, but you're still here, and I'm happy for it. I also want to point out that throughout this week, everyone, as you're listening and watching this show, keep your eyes peeled on the Utini YouTube channel, all of our socials, because as we said in our intro, the 4 of us are going with our friend and pseudo-producer Timothy to Asheville this week for 5 days. Charles is going for 4 because he sucks. Most of us are doing 5 days. We will be together for the first time ever in our lives. We've worked with each other for 3 years now. We've never seen each other in person. We're so excited, and there will be pictures, there will be videos, there will be a live bounty hunt on Saturday with us all in the same room.
It's turning into quite the production. Like,
Yeah.
This was supposed to be just a fun trip
Just
for
a
all of us to get
vacation.
together, but like we've just slowly added more and more projects as we
it'd be
go,
great.
and like
Well, Eric and
Great.
Eric and I had to pony up money for flights, so Corey has to bring all the gear. So we're just
Yeah,
gonna
exactly.
we're showing
Charles just gets to freaking show up.
Yeah. Charles,
Bringing
you're buying
myself.
all the beer. So, but we're so excited. Keep your eyes open. It's going to be honestly a huge week for us as friends, and it's really going to be fun. We'll be hoping to share that experience with you. Cannot wait. But the people that make a lot of the things we do possible, like projects, are our lovely Patreon community, our patrons. And we want to say thank you to Zach W., Christian Bolden, Nathan Gomez, and Chris Carrizo, who all joined Patreon this past week.
It's been a busy
Thank
week.
you.
Nice.
Busy week, absolutely incredible. And because of that, y'all, we have on the week that we're gonna record our Rogue One commentary, we're doing it in Asheville. We have hit the next goal, which is $800 as our Revenge of the Sith commentary. I'm out of things to say. I thought I would have 4 things to say during the life of this show about Patreon, and y'all just keep upping the goal. Like, guys, this is talk to the community. They keep giving us
I
amazing
know.
things. This is
I know.
tremendous.
Like, stop it. Like, what are you doing? What are you doing? We have so much stuff to do. It's just, I mean, in all seriousness, like, it's just incredibly honor. Like, it brings so much honor to me. What am I trying to say here? I'm getting
You're
emotional
honored.
here. I'm
Yeah,
honored, damn it. I'm
honored.
honored. All right.
I'm
It's a big
honored.
deal. We started Patreon as a joke, right? It wasn't real. And now it is. It's really real. Like, I think we're going to break into $1,000 this year, which is absolutely mind blowing. I mean, I can't wait till celebration is going to happen this year. We're going to have expenses to do stuff.
Yeah.
Like, we're going through this like really big planning and goal process at UTini right now. Obviously, that's why we took last week off on a lot of our live shows. And guys, there's some really awesome stuff that's being planned that's happening this year. And we're talking about allocating resources for things. And we would not even be able to have those conversations if it wasn't for Patreon. So like,
Yeah.
you guys are what make it possible, right? Like, I mean, we're all volunteers here. We all put in our time, and the fact that like people are willing to contribute to this, like to help pay for that, is amazing.
Yeah, we
It's
appreciate you believing in us and what we can
Yeah.
produce for you, and then we have fun doing this every week. It's like it's not a job, so this is something that I enjoy doing after my job when I get back, and then so this is fun, and the way that you guys support us is amazing, and it's very, very much appreciated. And thank you very much from all of us.
Yeah, no question. We love you. We can't wait to see what all that support is going to give you in 2022. And I can't wait to watch a Star Wars movie with you guys for the first time ever in person and have it all recorded for people to love. So if you want to join in on that fun, head over to patreon.com/utini, utini.com/Patreon. We got tons of stuff for you there, including extra shows, including extra content. There's going to be some really exclusive behind the scenes stuff coming up later in the year that you're going to have. So we love you all. Thank you, thank you, thank you. All right, Wes, let's hit him with the Star Wars Weekly Roundup drop.
It's the Star Wars Weekly Roundup.
All right, a couple things this week we want to highlight. First of all, when we took the week off last week, we did put out a little preview video to celebrate the release of a little book called The Fallen Star. Ever heard of it? It's the final adult novel in the High Republic Phase 1, Wave 3, and our reviews are up. If you haven't seen them, we just wanted to let you know that The Fallen Star did indeed receive the highest score an adult canon novel has ever received on utini.com. It is sitting at a solid 9.8. Our Discord channel, where a lot of people have been very respectfully reading along, tagging spoilers, has just been going day after day after day after day after day. And guys, I just wanted to check in and see how the three of y'all are doing with Fallen Star. Have you started it? Are you in it? Are you saving it for more near the round table? Like, how's your Fallen Star progress?
Well, let's say that I'm saving it for the round table.
Yeah,
I like
My
that.
book has yet to come in. I have not
Audible.
received it from the mailman. So I'm
Audible, digital baby, digital all the way.
but Wes, you were trying to do a good thing. That's why you still don't have the book.
Yes,
right?
correct. I go through bookshop.org for my books, and they usually send it out on the day of release. So it gets here a couple days, but I'm still awaiting. So I mean, it's going to get here, but there is another bookstore that's near me that I want to go talk to the manager or owner about, see if I can pre-order books from them and try to help out that business.
Yeah,
I love that.
that's a good
Charles,
idea.
you're done, aren't you?
I'm not done. No, I
Okay.
would be done. I took a weird journey on this one. I decided to get into the audiobook, which I don't have a great track record with because I just fade in and out, and it's not as easy to pull like the quotes and stuff like that I want to for the roundtables. So I started this audiobook. I got to chapter 12. Those of you that have read that far know that that's a little bit of a turning point in the book. And then I stopped, and then I restarted with the physical copy. And now I'm in chapter 15 or 16. I can't remember. So I've caught up. Everything's new to me again, but the audiobook was great. Like if you can digest those okay, and you're not like me, it was a great performance all around. I don't have the attention span, so I had to go back physical.
Yeah. I am coincidentally, Charles, at chapter 12. That's where I'm at, and this is it's heating up. Let me tell you. This I mean, the book is called Fallen Star, and like the cover has got like Starlight Beacon on it and stuff, and they've released all these posters and excerpts and all this stuff. So it's not really a spoiler to say that the tagline for this book should just be "Bad shit happens," because it's just getting worse and worse, and I'm afraid. That's all I can
That's
say.
what we want here. That's the vibe.
Yeah.
Welcome to it, guys.
Yeah, it is. They're taking lots of risk, and like if you have been on the fence about jumping on the bandwagon, like now is the time. Let me tell you, now is the time. Like read like. What are the books they should read? They should read the novels, the adult novels exclusively.
Light of the Jedi, Rising Storm. Then you could probably jump right into Fallen Star if you want to get to it. Just read those three. But
if you want a little bit more out of the shadows,
yeah,
just for
Out of the Shadows
some
has
of
a
those
good amount.
characters. Yeah.
Yep. But that's it. I think that's all you would need if you really wanted to catch up really quickly and then kind of supplement things here and there. Now would be a great time because, this book is taking risk. It's very good, very good. I'm really enjoying it. I mean, it's hitting hard.
Yeah, and we have a couple. We got a couple reviews coming later on in the show from our community, so stay tuned for those. They're coming here in just a sec. Before we get that, I also want to do a couple plugs in this segment. We have started, because of the Book of Boba Fett, doing our Bounty Hunt show again. If you do not know Bounty Hunt, we have a separate podcast feed for that. Just look up Bounty Hunt anywhere you want. And also, on our YouTube channel, we stream those live every Sunday. We just go over the Book of Boba Fett live with our reactions. But this week, we have a couple things that we also wanted to highlight especially. Our very own Meg Dowell is writing up Book of Boba Fett recaps over on utini.com. Head over to utini.com and make sure you check those out if you want to, just devour it a little bit. And also, today, January 10th, on our YouTube channel, we have a short clip because there was a very special guest that arrived in this week's episode of the Book of Boba Fett, and we clipped out our conversation about that. It's about 5 minutes. So if you just want a taste of what our show is, or you just want to devour a little more content about that one specific character, go one video back in the feed to see our reactions about that surprise cameo. And also, in the comments of that video, let us know if you want more of that kind of stuff. We're playing this year, like Corey said, with a lot of projects. We want to play with some more short-form content as far as our podcasts and live shows go. So if you like cutting out videos like that, the edits that they do, leave a comment. Let us know what you want. Quick chat thing to talk about. Ace Bronx asks, what about Into the Dark? Should I read that first before Fallen Star? I would say, as far as the absolute things you need to know, there's less in Into the Dark than in the other novels mentioned. You can still have a good time and retroactively go back there. Into the Dark is probably going to be more necessary for like Midnight Horizon, because it's the YA novels. But if you just want to get to Fallen Star, you probably can skip that one if you're pressed for time. Great question.
Yeah. I mean, like the simple answer, I think, to reading High Republic in general is like, if you want to know every single character that gets like a name drop, like you have to read literally everything, like, all the comics, all the books, like literally everything, right? If you just want the big picture story, like as a general rule of thumb in Star Wars, actually, the adult and young adult novels like is probably what you could get by with. If you like want the bare minimum, just the adult novels. I mean, I think that would get you where you need to be.
And another actually great resource to use is that if you just want to go into the current book, the High Republic show on YouTube, every time they do it, I think it was every other month or so, they do recaps of what has happened in the initiative up to that point. So if you just want to speed, and you don't care about the content, which I do, but if you just want to get the story, I would watch those recaps as well. Those cover the comics and the books as well. So if you want the full experience, though, it's all good. Have some fun. Go to it and order it all at utini.com. Have a great time. Two more things I want to talk about. One, as Corey said, we were off last week in all of our live shows, but we all put up a little something. Our friends at the Cosmic Force put up a recap of the past year, and our friends at Legends Look Back put up the Magical Thriftstory Tour video, where Jared and Rick, two of the hosts, actually met up in person and went thrift store shopping. Sorry, for Star Wars books. Especially if you're a Legends fan, you know that's kind of the best way to get some of them. They had a bunch of fun gems. It's a really fun video. So if you haven't seen our holiday offerings when we were off, highly recommend to go check those out. All right. And finally, whoa, don't hit the mic, Eric. That's podcasting 101. We did get a special fun treat from our friends over at DK this week, and I wanted to highlight the updated and expanded Star Wars Character Encyclopedia. This pretty thick boy, again, was sent to us by DK Publishing. It is put up by a number of people, such as Simon Beecroft, Elizabeth Dowsett, Pablo Hidalgo, Amy Rochelle, and Dan Zer. And this is what it sounds like. It's an update to the typical character encyclopedia. Every character in the book has a single page like this. So there's no double page spreads. The massive ones we've covered in the past have bigger ones for Ahsoka or Obi-Wan or Anakin. This is a very even socialist book. Everyone gets one page. I don't care who you are. You get one page. But a heads up to you, if you do want this, what I love about it is that it's very concise. And if you're reading something and a character pops up and you're like, who is this? It's got a really quick profile for you. It also has Knights of Ren, has their real names. It has a brief data file, a couple fun facts, and who they look like in person. Because no animated characters in this one. So if you want the animated characters, we talked about the Clone Wars Encyclopedia earlier in the month, or last month, right? Last year, if you will. Dad joke. Then if you got that one and you pick this one up, you can basically cover all of canon that you want. This goes through The Rise of Skywalker and The Mandalorian Season 2. So Cobb Vanth is in this. So Mando himself is in this. The Marshal that, not the Marshal, oh my gosh, the person that Ahsoka fights with in The Mandalorian, she's in this. So all the stuff from the auxiliary shows, things like that. If you want a good visual representation, you don't have time to go on Wikipedia all the time to double check characters, definitely highly recommend it. It is out now. A nice, fun, concise book of all the live action characters through The Rise of Skywalker Mando Season 2 from our friends at DK Publishing. Go to utini.com right now. You can order it, as Wes said, through Amazon or through Bookshop and support your local bookstore.
And it's currently in the description. If you want to click on it right now, you can get it right now.
Wes, you're awesome at that.
Okay.
I love that you do that. And I'm never going to remember it. I'm going to stop promising you that. But go to the description in the doobly-doo, click on that, pick up your copy today. And of course, go to our release schedule on utini.com where you can order The High Republic Midnight Horizon coming out February 1st and The High Republic The Tempest Runner, the official novelization of the audio drama coming out March 1st. We love those script books. We cannot wait. All right. I teased this earlier. Charles, we got our first reviews of The Fallen Star. Take us through them.
Yeah, first one here is from JG Cars. I do hope this is spoiler free. I trust you.
They are. I looked at both
trust
of
you,
them.
JG. As you mentioned, this is for The Fallen Star by Claudia Gray. JG gave it 5 stars and said, "Move over, Titanic. There's new royalty in disaster stories." Great title. JG says, "When we discovered that Claudia Gray was going to author the last chapter of Phase 1 in the High Republic, expectations flew through the roof. How can you blame anyone after the craftsmanship of Lost Stars, Bloodline, Master and Apprentice, and even more? It almost set this book up to be a disaster, pun intended. However, after reading The Fallen Star, there is no question that this is my favorite canon Star Wars novel and that Claudia Gray is currently the best Star Wars author. This book filled me with so much excitement and joy as it did with dread and pain. Gray handles the characterization so well, and there are some moments that make you audibly cheer, yell, or any other noise you can make. The pace starts very calm and picks up speed as you progress through the story. There are plenty of shocks and twists. When you think you know what's going to happen, Gray proves you wrong and wrong again. I want to mention that I listened to the audiobook for this book, and my gosh, Mark Thompson gives the performance of his life. With his voice acting coupled with the sound production, propelled this to the best audiobook experience by a mile. There were moments that I got jump scared. There was plenty of new music, but also familiar songs that paired perfectly with key scenes that left me scared, crying, and giddy. As you can clearly tell, I love this book. I could gush on and on, but simply enough, you have to read or listen for yourself. It really rewards those who have followed all the stories from comics to middle grade books and everything else in between. The Fallen Star once again raises the bar for storytelling in Star Wars and solidifies without question that Claudia Gray is the royalty of Star Wars books. I think he liked it. I couldn't quite tell. No,
subtext. It's all in the subtext.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That gets me really excited to keep pushing through. And I think it's probably going to only be a 1 or 2 more days before I blow through the rest of this.
Yeah, nice.
My DMs are open.
And JG does such a great job of not spoiling the book in the review. Well done.
Yeah.
Well
Yes,
done.
thank you for
sir.
that. For those of us that are slow. All right, Wes, do you want to take the second review?
Sure, I can do that. So the second review is by Fern. The read The High Republic, The Fallen Star by Claudia Gray. 5 stars. We got 2 of them. And wrote a heartbreaking masterpiece, aka I need therapy. Oh God, I haven't even started this book.
Oh my God.
After the success of Light of the Jedi and The Rising Storm, the bar was so set incredibly high you would think there's no way anyone could meet it. But Claudia Gray isn't just anybody. She delivers again and exceeds all expectations, to no one's surprise, and has written probably one of the best Star Wars books of all time. Even though we knew a tragedy was inevitable, nothing felt redundant. The takes were so high, with plenty of twists and turns, which left me gasping out loud, laughing, crying, or even all 3 at the same time. Although there were many characters, no one was left out, and everyone had their time to shine. Gray's writing brought every single one of them to life with rich development throughout the book, even though it was only centered around one major event over a period of a day or 2. 11 out of 10. Recommend, especially if you love being completely devastated and in need of therapy after becoming emotionally attached to fictional characters. Well, I think I'm going to have to start the friggin' audiobook tonight. I don't think I can wait any longer for the book to show up at my door.
It's real good. I mean, it doesn't have a weak moment either. Like, I mean, the beginning of it starts out real strong. I mean, it's immediately interesting.
Yeah.
Like, it's not like a book it's going to take you a little while to get into, you know?
Fantastic. I
Nope.
like that.
Cannot wait for more. And of course,
Can you spoil this for people? How long after The Rising Storm does this book take place? Immediately? A day?
Consult our timeline.
Oh, you know what?
It's not
It's
long.
got to be several
within
months.
It's
don't-
months.
yeah,
It's not
months.
immediately. Because things have happened, especially like in the comics, things have happened, and it's like after that. So I
Yeah.
think it's a number of months.
Okay.
Yeah, great question though. But if you have read The Fallen Star, The Rising Storm, or any Star Wars book for that matter, and you want your review to be read on this show, look up your book on Utini.com. Go to the complete book profile, scroll down to the bottom of the page, and add your star rating and review, and we will try to read it on this show as we can. But my friends, just because phase 1 is ending doesn't mean the High Republic is gone. No, it is here to stay. We have another phase on the way, and we are going to talk all about it. So we are going to take a quick break. If you want to know nothing about the next phase, we hope you've had a great time. Have a lovely rest of your evening or day. But if you want to just know the few things that we found out last week, stay tuned. We'll be right back after this quick break. It's what Jimmy McGinty says Shane Falco needs.
absolutely
Charles is calling! Put him on! Put him on! Wait, is this a first-time caller?
Hello, you are live on the Living Force.
Hey, long time listener, first caller.
Yes. What's your question?
My question is for Wes. Why does he think that he can do my job?
Corey put me up to it.
Oh my God.
Corey made you do it? That's your answer?
Oh, man, this was.
I'm enjoying the show. I won't interrupt anymore. Have fun.
How canon is Darth Bane? Obviously, he is samurai body voiced by Mark Hamill since season 6 of the Clone Wars, and they reference Bane's order and all that. You created the rule of two, but he was the worst Yoda I've ever done. I'm getting tired. It's been a long week.
Is that what that was?
I didn't
I
even.
thought you were having a voice moment.
Yeah.
I didn't
the
even get the
coughing
word
fit.
structure right.
Oh man.
Edit that in post, Rick. How canon?
You put this image of in my head of Piet just whipping out an Uno reverse card and slapping it down.
Bam!
Take that.
Yeah, I don't. That Vader does not play Uno though, so I don't think that would be a wise long-term
No,
discussion.
He doesn't have the patience for it. He just force chokes everybody.
Exactly.
Oh, welcome back, everyone. Oh, jeez. We love our other shows on this network. Of course, if you are loving the Living Force, you got to make sure you're checking out Legends Look Back on the Cosmic Force every single week. Cosmic Force is Wednesday nights, Legends Look Back on Thursdays, and of course, they all have their own podcast feeds wherever you get your podcasts. All right, High Republic Phase 2. Before we start, don't worry. There will be no spoilers for the Fallen Star in any of this talk. There is nothing about the Fallen Star, nothing about any kind of characters, nothing. So you are absolutely safe no matter what. Okay, so guys, on January 4th, we got to watch the High Republic Anniversary Celebration on the Star Wars YouTube channel, hosted by none other than Christina Ariel, who we love from the High Republic show. There were interviews with the authors. There was a look back. Kathleen Kennedy made a video. We love her. All kinds of great stuff. And of course, we have a recap on utini.com where Meg and Jacob were freaking out by the second, trying to type fast enough to get it done. But we did learn a couple of things. So guys, we're going to go bit by bit, and let's just do some brief reactions to what we found out, all right? First piece of news. Phase 2 of the High Republic starts in October 2022, which I actually thought was pretty far away. I
Yeah,
was a little
Me
surprised.
too. Me
yeah,
too.
in a good way. I'm kind of glad, to be honest, that we got some space.
Yeah, sure.
Also, this might leave room for other cool stuff to happen this year, right? So
Yeah,
I'm
we
all
got a lot
for
of
it.
books.
Yeah, for sure.
They,
Yeah,
Yeah.
big fan.
They've left a window for something to drop during celebration.
Ooh, that is a good point.
Oh yeah, because we got
actually.
Brotherhood coming up and Shadows of the Sith coming up, right? So like, we know we got these other books that are happening. Queen's Hope is coming,
Yeah.
but yeah, the big celebration. It's the con exclusive cover, right? We all know there's going to be a con exclusive cover
Yeah.
that we all got to run to, and wristbands and whatever it's going to be.
Mhm.
But it won't be a High Republic book. That's a great point. But we did find out that that's going to be when Cavan's new High Republic comic comes out, which we'll talk about a little later. But theoretically, we will be getting comic issues through then. Midnight Horizon comes out next month, and then Mission Disaster comes out in March. So we'll see, but there is a gap. Phase 2 itself, as we knew earlier, will be called Quest of the Jedi. With Wes, I believe we have a graphic of all the phases that we found out earlier. We want to throw that up. We knew that Phase 1 was Light of the Jedi. We knew Phase 2 is Quest of the Jedi. And this ties in because Claudia Gray, during her little mini interview with StarWars.com, said this era is about exploration and invention. So I got to ask you guys, when they say Quest, what in the world are we talking about here? Like, what does that mean? And what
That's
does
not
Light mean
fair.
for this one?
That's not fair that she keeps allowing, or they keep allowing her to allow them to do that to us. Like she needs to give us something more than that. Like every time Claudia has this secret that we can't know, and then when she lets us know, it's super awesome, and we can't give us something. Give us something.
That had big "How dare you make me bleed my own blood" energy. Wes, when you said that.
Totally did. It totally did.
That's fine.
Oh man.
I don't know what to make of this because I was surprised in general by the announcement. All the timelines regarding it, like the real life timeline it's not coming till October, the in-universe timeline that these are kind of prequels. And then I want to give due credit. I cannot remember if this was maybe Steven, was this Oz? I don't know. Pointed out in the Rising Storm, there is a plot point that is just casually mentioned that takes place exactly, supposedly, when this new phase takes place in the High Republic timeline.
Yes, exactly. So let's start with that, right? Biggest news of the event. Quest of the Jedi, Phase 2, is going to take place 150 years before Light of the Jedi. And then that plot point was when they met the Togrutas in Togrutan space. So
exactly.
Oh,
so we're
cool.
pulling a Lucas. We're going not only 20 years of prequels or 40 years of prequels. Haha, cute, adorable. We're going to triple that and go 150 years.
Wow.
Like,
yeah.
Blew me away.
All right. So I think this is very interesting to me because this like really opens the door to the High Republic being like a little bit different than I anticipated, I guess. Like,
yes, sure.
I mean, I think when we got all these books, and we saw it was being like done in like 3 phases, and like we got a ton of books this year that all tied very closely together. I don't know. I felt like that was going to be the story, right? We're going to learn these characters. It's going to exist in a Skywalker saga-esque fashion, right? Where it's all very close and tied in, but like.
Yeah. New Jedi Order. It's one solid stream all the way, 20 books. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, exactly. But that does not seem to be the case. Like, holy smokes. Like, this is like going way back, and this is going to be different stories, like different characters, like an entire new universe almost. 150 years is enough to be a whole new universe, like, frankly.
Yeah. It's risky, right? It feels risky. It feels as risky to me as the original concept of the High Republic. Like, just we're kind of going somewhere that we don't know again, and immediately after falling in love with a lot of these characters and a lot of these plot points, now they hit a home run certainly with Phase 1, so like I have confidence in them. But I gotta tell you, I had to check myself, despite the fact that we do a podcast and we talk about positivity every Monday night at 8 p.m. EST.
Nice.
I saw that and I was like, dude, I don't know how I feel about this. And then I was like, you're being one of those bros from 1997, dude, whenever, you know, they're like, wait, prequels? Like, no, like, what is this?
What?
You know,
like,
so
Boba Fett's a kid? What the hell? That's stupid. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I had to check myself. And when I took a step back and I looked at what an awesome job they did with Phase 1, like, I'm in. I'm in.
Yeah, I'm very interested. I think I'm most interested to see how this is going to connect to, you know, this era, because I think it is going to connect pretty tightly, but like it's going to be entirely different characters. And like, I mean, the sheer volume of characters they've created for the High Republic is utterly impressive. And like the fact that we're going to like do this again in October of this year is holy smokes. Like, this is, like,
I mean, Rachel said that in the chat. She says, do you think we're getting new major characters for each phase? Right. So let's hit that for a second.
Mm-hmm.
Like, who? Yoda, right? We got Yoda. Yoda's 1,800. He's alive.
Yeah.
We know
but
that.
But they took Yoda off the table with this one almost.
He's
in
on
a way.
sabbatical, which is my favorite thing in the world.
We don't know what that means.
We don't know what that means.
But who do we think's on the table? Do we want to talk about what old characters do we think are maybe on the table for Phase 1?
Who's left?
Oppo Rancisis is going to be there.
Oppo Rancisis. Is Yariel Poof? Can he be that old?
Yeah, probably.
Maybe
I think so.
Porter Angle, the Blade of Bardata, could be.
Who is confirmed, which we'll talk about in a little bit. We're getting more of the Blade.
Who's the old guy in the library with Ahsoka in the episode? Who's the guy?
Anube.
How old is he? Because he's in this one, right?
But he's a young knight in
that's
in
right.
Rising Storm. He's in there.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah.
Yaddle.
Oh,
Eric.
Yaddle. Also in her prime. We want hot Yaddle. Can we have hot Yaddle energy?
Wait, you're saying we don't already have hot Yaddle? That wasn't hot Yaddle?
Imagine, Charles, we're going to a 12 out of 10.
This
Seattle hotness scale.
has taken a turn, I have to say.
But yeah, so possibly ones of that. But I think that is the bigger question that Rachel's asking. Like, there's all the humans are different. Like 150 years, Marie Santeca was like basically like dust, and she was just over 100, right? And that was a plot point, was that she shouldn't be alive.
Right.
So I mean, we're talking none of the main trio. We're talking most of the main characters in the books and comics are no deal.
Not alive.
What about Maz?
I could see Maz.
Has Maz Kanata? Has she been name dropped in the High Republic?
Maz Kanata has appeared in the High Republic Adventures.
That's right. Yeah. Okay. I don't know if I was remembering that incorrectly or not, but yeah, Maz Kanata was dropped in that. So like, that would be interesting. Interesting way to tie into the sequel. yeah, for sure.
I think though it's a great question. Are there going to be new main characters for each phase? And I don't know. Obviously, none of us knows, but I almost wonder if this second phase is just going to be filling in necessary backstory with whatever happened with the Jedi and like why. Again, I haven't finished Fallen Star. Like why Marchion Ro has a vendetta against them. If it might fill in all of that and then jump back to where we leave phase 1, because if we don't come back to where we leave phase 1, I don't see how they would do that. I really like. I don't think they're going to fully finish the present time story by the end of the book I'm currently reading.
Yeah,
That's
and
a great point.
Something else that's kind of interesting. This might be a mild spoiler. We were talking about before the show that somebody got dropped in the comics. Is that too big of a spoiler to drop in the context, Eric? I don't know if that's too big.
Yes, for right now.
Okay. A certain character has been name dropped in comics that took place in Old Republic stuff, which makes it interesting. I would love to see. I'll leave it at. I would love to see some tie-ins with what we have seen in Legends, Old Republic stuff, right? Like,
Sure.
That would be really, really cool to get some characters like some of the old Sith and stuff that have been in games and things like that. That would be interesting to see tie in some way. Even if they don't totally explain their stories or something, that would be interesting.
Yeah, we went through this entire phase 1, although I have not read the most current book, without like hearing a lot about the Sith or if at all, right? So we've heard like marauders and these raiders that are there, like pillaging different worlds, but nothing about like the biggest bad that Star Wars is like enemy character is all about is the Sith. So man, that would be a bomb drop.
Which raises a question: do you want the Sith to find their way into the High Republic?
I always want the Sith.
I would like to see the vanquishing of the Sith. I forget how long it has been since we've seen the Sith technically. Because I know that timeline is also very fluid depending on the story. I think the end of the Sith War would be cool. I also think what Aaron said in the chat, I would not mind seeing phase 1 characters, parents or grandparents. I have loved watching Kes Dameron and Shara Bay in the Star Wars comics, Poe Dameron's parents. I've loved that because it's really cool seeing the elements of Poe that we see. So I don't mind if maybe we see like a grandmother of Avar or something. I don't mind if we see.
Maybe that's not really traditional Jedi stuff, though. I mean,
that's true. That's true.
So, yeah, I don't know. I mean, like I love seeing. I'd love seeing Sith stuff. I think that's like the story in Star Wars, right? Is Sith versus Jedi. It's just the eternal battle of the light and the dark side of the Force. Like it is like the story, right? Even though that's not really exactly what we're getting in the High Republic so far. I love seeing the lines between canon and Legends blurred. I mean, I love seeing them bring characters from Legends. There's a lot of opportunity there. I mean, the Old Republic has been like a super popular era since it was created, right? With the KOTOR games and everything. So I'm all about it.
Yeah, I think that one of the coolest things that we know we're getting, obviously, that we're going to throw a picture up here in a second, is we did not get titles. Last year at this point, we got titles of Wave 2, but also because there were shipping delays. So the High Republic actually started, if we remember, like 4 months later than it was supposed to, or 3 months later than it was supposed to. So the gap between Wave 1 and Wave 2 was much smaller.
Yeah.
So we didn't get titles, but we did get a couple story specifics, and let's jump into those for a bit. Number 1, we've talked a little bit about. We're going to Phase 2, we know Quest of the Jedi involves a Charles Soule story involving none other than the Blade of Bardata himself, Porter freaking Angle. Hell yeah.
Yeah.
This is so exciting.
I mean, this is the first character that was name dropped in Light of the Jedi, and like everybody was like, "All right, where's this story?" Literally, everybody was on the internet saying that of like, "I want this story. This Jedi's name is the Blade of Bordata, and he's like a cook in shit, right? Like I'm all about this. Is that what? This is the picture. I haven't seen this image.
Yeah, so this is the
guy.
concept art we just got for our audio listeners. He is like full black robes, none of the eye patch, no nothing. This is
Looks
the
like
young
a ninja.
He
Porter
looks like a
Angle.
freaking Sith, 100%.
But he's got a sweet belt buckle, so I appreciate that.
Yes, he does. It's a Jedi belt buckle. You know he's good. Which is really exciting. And I think based on what Soule was saying, he was a bit cagey on whether it's a book or not. It sounds maybe like it's going to be a comic.
Interesting.
It sounds more like a comic thing.
Yeah. And Blue Pig makes a cool point in the chat too, because it's Quest of the Jedi. Is it them exploring the Outer Rim and like the trials of the Jedi? Which was the thing that got leaked on a Lucasfilm Christmas card. Is this them out, and are they doing all their trials? Are they less centralized? Does he become the Blade of Bardata in an exploration story that Charles Soule is going to get to talk about? Because he said it was a Porter story, not a Blade story. So I'm wondering if this is him earning that namesake, which I think would just be the most badass thing we could do.
And I put that out on Twitter today, like early afternoon. I knew that Porter Angle was gonna be part of this new Phase 2 initiative. But then I was reading it and I was like, well, what if we learn how he got that name? And it's like something brutal, like real brutal. Because I mean, the name itself sounds menacing, right? Like Blade of Bardata.
Yeah, it's like the Butcher of Blaviken in The Witcher is what I always think about. Like, there's one horrible event that happened. Thanks, Jacob. It is confirmed as a comic via StarWars.com.
Okay.
So,
there you go.
we got a lot of cool comics coming. That's a comic. Let's talk about the other two comics we heard about. One was Kevin Scott is kind of doing something new, but kind of doing the same thing. We just know that he has a Marvel comic starting in October. I assume this is going to be basically the same format as the High Republic comic now. It's just maybe going to be like a new issue #1. Like Marvel does that a lot. You're like X-Men 1. That basically starts off a new series. Do you guys think this is going to be just the High Republic #1 and it'll be volume 2 #1? Or is it going to be like, I don't know, the High Republic early years or like the higher Quest of the Jedi? Like, are they going to totally rebrand? This is also a business decision. You know what I mean?
I don't know. The comics perform well when you like reboot under the same name, right? There's a reason
we love
they
it
do that.
#1, yeah.
Yeah, that's why they do that over and over again. So, I wouldn't be surprised if it's called maybe not the High Republic, maybe it's called Quest of the Jedi #1, right? Like I wouldn't be surprised if they didn't give it that sort of title. I don't know.
Yeah. I like that he's staying with it though. I mean, that comic's been great, right? I mean, it got our comic of the year.
For sure.
So I think you had to check out the 2021 Utinis if you haven't yet. Spoiler for that one, I guess. But I think that Kevin's storytelling, especially in that series, has really just... It started off great, but it's really just gotten so good, especially with like the Padawan apprentice relationships. And I hope we're going to find another pair like Keeve and Skier that we can just latch onto and fall in love with, and then, of course, be decimated by.
Sure. Yeah,
that would be a ton of fun. And then, of course, Daniel Jose Older, similarly, is going from High Republic Adventures at IDW, which, of course, we remember IDW is now, all that stuff's going to Dark Horse, because Dark Horse is coming back to the fray. He is going to write an original High Republic Adventures graphic novel. Full graphic novel for Dark Horse. That's the first thing they're doing.
That's really cool.
Yeah, what do you think about that? So it's not, instead of doing just like issue by issue, which has been great in the High Republic Adventures, we're getting a thick graphic novel.
Yeah, I love that. And it's like, and it's Dark Horse too, which is also weird and unique. And Dark Horse comics, they did really, really well. And those are some of my favorite comics to read personally. Like the art style and stuff was really fun back in the day. Like if you don't know the history behind Star Wars comics, it's very interesting. It was Marvel originally, did like the early years. And I used to have some of those comics on my wall. But like they were like barely Star Wars, right? So it was Marvel for a
Yeah.
really long time, and then it was Dark Horse, and then it was Marvel again when Disney bought Star Wars. So now it's gonna be Dark Horse and Marvel. Like, what? Do we get both at the same time? Like, that's
wild.
really wild. So I don't know. It's gonna be really, really interesting to see what that business relationship looks like. You know, I like that.
Forbidden Door. I love the
Yeah.
graphic novels because if I'm sitting down to read a comic, I want to read more. If I take time out to read, I'm gonna read a long time, and the comic is not gonna do it for me.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's why I love so much. Corey, when we had the book boxes, you had graphic novels in there, but
I did.
back when they had the graphic novels, a lot of those. I mean, it went from it had probably 5 comics is what a graphic novel is. 5 total comics. It could be more, but it is definitely it's great to because you can just page turn and go
Right.
through a
It's
graphic
efficient,
novel.
and it's fun, and it feels better to hold, I think, than physical comics. You guys know I went through my phase this year where I got all physical comics, and
Yep.
we haven't really talked about that on the show actually, but like if you notice behind me, my background has changed. You guys are gonna think this is insane. I sold my entire Star Wars book collection in the last couple of weeks. We're making new space. We're downsizing. I'm kind of like exploring this minimalist lifestyle thing a little bit.
He's currently in a Motel 6.
Exactly.
Stay
I'm on
tuned
the
to
run.
2023 when it's wall-to-wall books in a mansion.
I'm on the run from the law, so I had to really downsize, right? So, yeah, no, like I'm going to all digital now, and I'm excited to kind of dive into those digital comics. But yeah, you're right, Wes. Like the trade paperback. So graphic novels and trade paperbacks can be kind of the same thing. It's a little confusing, right? But like a graphic novel and a trade paperback are both just a collection of single issue comics. But I've always, like you, Wes, really enjoyed the experience of reading like 5 books at one time. Like it feels like a more thorough experience, I feel like.
Yeah.
And
I was gonna say real quick, Be Nasty in the chat made a great point that I think ties into all this very nicely, and I want to make sure we hit it. He said Dark Horse likes doing graphic novels, which are less issue split up than like one long story, and IDW made the decision to split, if we remember, The Monster of Temple Peak was going to be a graphic novel, and then it was released in issues, and that seemed like a switch.
Yeah.
So maybe
Which was
that
weird.
tied into why they moved on.
Somewhat disappointing, weird too. I remember that too. I didn't know that was not. I didn't know that was an IDW decision. That seems like a bad move because they did market that pretty heavy as being a graphic novel, and we had this exact conversation when they announced Temple Peak or whatever of like, oh, cool, we're getting a graphic novel. It's unique and original. It's not just a bunch of issues, and then they didn't like announce that it wasn't a graphic novel anymore. It just kind of happened that like, hey, here is 5 issues, which seems like. I don't know if that is, I don't know, that has to be a reason they did it, but like it seems like it would be less profitable to do that. I mean, this is speculation here, like to print and ship and deal with all the production of a bunch of issues. Like it seems easier to do graphic novels. So I don't know. I'm all about bringing those in here. And so since they happened with Temple Peak, we have yet to have an original canon graphic novel. Is that true?
I think
it is.
Yeah, that wasn't released in issues, and I'm guessing based on Daniel Jose Older's writing, obviously it's going to be new characters because the characters he's currently writing, most of them really won't be alive 150 years ago, considering they're like 12. But I would assume that the graphic novel would probably be Padawan focused. Similarly, the High Republic Adventures series I think is a great way to introduce those. I don't know if we're gonna get more manga stuff. Right, we're getting the second volume of the manga this month, The Edge of Balance, which has been fun. But I love that he's doing that. I don't know if they announced if Harley Telebau, the artist, is going to be moving as well, but I'm sure when we get that official solicitation, our friends at the Cosmic Force will be keeping us all up to date.
That's right.
And then, of course, the other 2 architects, Justina Ireland and Claudia Gray. Justina Ireland, all she said was she's doing a YA novel. And Mission to Disaster, the middle grade that is technically coming out in March / LOL, is already out on Audible and Kindle.
What?
So this got pushed.
Let's talk about this. Let's talk about this.
Pushed to March because
this
of shipping.
is a bizarre experience that happened in the last week. I forgot that this even happened until you brought it up just now, Eric. So
yeah, man.
Let's I'm gonna try to tell you this story. So this
do your best.
This book has been delayed a bunch of times, right? And like they keep. Has it been delayed a bunch of times? No, I don't think it's been
only
delayed.
once. This was going to come out first.
Yeah.
But
it was a big
January 4th.
That's right.
Because the middle grade and the adult novels always come out the same day.
Yes,
That was going to
yes.
happen.
That was right. Yeah, it was going to come out in January, and then they announced it was being pushed back to March, and then like for some reason somebody like forgot to like update the guy who's responsible for uploading the PDF to like Amazon, right? They forgot to tell that guy that hey, the
And
dates have
Audible.
changed.
Yeah.
And Audible, because like they accidentally released this book on Audible and Amazon digitally, and people like in the Utini were like, "Hey, did this book get delayed? Because it's on my Kindle right now, and I'm actively reading it." Like that happened, and we're like, "Oh, what?" And did they ever say anything? Nobody.
So here's the official channels, right? Or it's a shipping delay, right? The middle grade novels, they're printed differently they're obviously a different size. The paper is different. There's illustrations if you've read them. And shipping, as we've said many times in this show, is an absolute nightmare still. So I'm thinking that something within that shipping process got delayed. However, the book has been done. The book has been done for a while, right? So the Audible was already in. The digital was scanned, like it was ready to go. So I'm guessing that, yeah, everything was queued up. And they didn't take it down. So if you want to, because Mission to Disaster takes place before The Fallen Star, even though it technically isn't officially released for 2 months. You can get it on Kindle. You can get it on Audible. And apparently Justina Ireland says there are some things in there. I have not read it yet. Our official review will come out in March. But it will connect to some phase 2 storytelling. So if you're reading Mission to Disaster, I don't know. Use that highlighter thing they got in the Kindle app, right? And maybe some fun stuff. Just maybe,
there were some issues.
50 years since what? Like,
oh, there it is.
There were some issues with the digital version though, is what
There's
we
a
saw.
typo
Like,
here
there's,
and there.
like some typos, and like it has the vibe that it hasn't been finished. So maybe we love our friends at Del Rey, but they do seem to have somewhat of an issue with this type of thing for whatever reason, kind of consistently.
It's hard to publish, man.
It is. It's a tough industry with a lot of expectations, particularly in Star Wars. So, I get it, but I don't know. Interesting happened that this book maybe was not ready for release, or at least not quite ready for release, and it got released digitally. So I don't know.
But hey, you can get it if you want.
more points for my promotion of going digital this year, right? So
that's right. And of course,
that's right.
Yes,
Jacob just pointed out it's not a Del Rey book. Yeah, this is not a
Disney
Del Rey. This is a
Lucasfilm.
Disney Lucasfilm, which is something else entirely. But
absolutely. And then of course, Claudia Gray, as you said, Wes, gave us the huge news that she's working on something. That was all we got. That being said, she legit. I looked back last year. It was almost word for word what she said during the live stream last year when she was talking about Fallen Star. So
yeah,
who knows?
Damn you, non-disclosure agreements!
I'm just like, we're working on a book. It may not even be a book. We don't know because she won't tell us. She's like, we're making a movie. I'm directing a movie.
Guys, she's working on a game, and we were no. However, we did get some new stuff in addition to these because Wes threw up this picture, if you'd be so kind.
Sure.
We have new people joining the High Republic. This, I had no idea was coming. We have 4 new authors that got announced. So from left to right on your screen, we got Lydia Kang, Tessa Gratton, Zoraida Cordova, and friend of the show, friend of our hearts, George Mann.
Mr. George Mann.
George Mann.
Guys, they're almost doubling the amount of people that are running for the High Republic.
Yeah, I love all these authors too. They've all shown their character well, and I'm very excited to bring all these folks on board to the High Republic for sure. so excited.
Cool.
Yeah.
Not to put any of the other authors into the background, but I gotta say the George Mann announcements really got me. Coda is attempting to rip my arm off, as you can see over here.
He's also very excited about George Mann.
Yes, he's super stoked about George Mann. The reason I'm excited for him, not just because he's a nice guy, and I'm glad that he's getting this opportunity, but obviously we know all about his friendship with Kevin Scott, right? And I really do feel like a lot of those real life relationships can translate well into the writing. And so this is not just throwing some people together who are good writers. Like this is putting people together who have genuine in real life relationships. And I think that we are going to get a better product because of that.
Absolutely.
I completely
Absolutely.
agree. And as Ace asked in the chat, have any of these authors written for Star Wars before? Great question. If you're unfamiliar with their work, all these authors have or are about to write in Star Wars. George Mann, as we said, he has written the Myths and Fables book, as well as Dark Legends, which are short story collections, and he co-wrote the Life Day Treasury with his friend Kevin Scott. So he is well versed in short stories. So maybe, can you imagine if we get a High Republic anthology? That'd be incredible.
Yeah.
Zoraida Cordova wrote the much loved but often kind of pushed aside Crash of Fate, the Batu YA romance book that we actually all really dug. And for some reason, whenever it comes up, it's like, oh yeah, like it's kind of like Most Wanted in that way, where everyone's like, oh yeah, that's a great book. Really love that. Tessa Gratton is going to be co-writing the YA novel with Justina Ireland, actually, which is interesting. I haven't read a co-written book in a long time, as far as like that's not anthologies. So that'll be really fun. And Tessa is actually contributing a short story to the Star Wars Story of Jedi and Sith anthology coming later this year. So you will be able to read Tessa's work pre-High Republic. And then Lydia Kang also contributed to the From a Certain Point of View Empire Strikes Back collection with a story focused on the medical droid 21B. So all these authors have written in Star Wars or will write Star Wars before, but you gotta imagine you can write some Star Wars. And then you get in the High Republic Slack. And then you're writing Star Wars. Like, there's their level to it, man. Like,
you get to create something because that's the beginning of I mean, it's the farthest back we've been, I guess. Not, I mean, well, in canon, anyways, right?
Yeah, right.
Right.
I mean, it's brand new stuff, and we know that Tessa's writing YA with Justina. Any idea for these other ones? Like, what do you think would be? Obviously, we don't know all their work as well as like a Cavan or a Soul or a Gray or whatever, but like, do you think they're going to be on books? Are they going to be on comics?
I don't know.
Like,
I don't know. George Mann has not yet written like a full book type of thing for us, right?
Yeah,
He's
for
in these
Star Wars,
Myths and Fables. Yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah, he's written his Myths and Fables and stuff, but like, I don't know. Well, they gave Charles Soule a novel, right? Like, I would love to see.
He did
George
okay.
Mann write a novel.
He did
or
all
something
right.
Yeah, it's all right. Yeah,
it's fine.
Yeah, he's pretty good. You know, it wasn't like it was. You know,
I'm really
a
interested to
book
see
of the
what
year.
Zoraida Cordova writes or what she creates, because she like really impressed me with Crash of Fate. I really like that book, and so I will definitely be picking up whatever she puts out. I mean, whether it's going to be a book, comic, YA, anything. So
and the thing is, we know that at least some Jedi definitely bone in the High Republic. So, like, the door is open.
Let's get into that, Eric. I mean, let's talk.
I mean, I'm just saying.
The door is up. Let's just go ahead and close that door right back shut.
All right, door shut. But yeah.
Okay.
Charles, what do you think? What do you think these people could do?
I don't know. You know, part of me wants to say, yeah, let's see them do the things that we've seen them do because we know they're going to do it well. But part of the entire High Republic era that's so interesting is that it is pushing those boundaries, right? And so I actually do want to see some of these people doing things that they have not done before, at least for Star Wars. You know, obviously we just mentioned George Mann. I'm really excited about him. He's done all short story stuff, but he has written a lot of novels. He's got his Witchwood series. He's got the Ghost series. He's done some stuff for Sherlock Holmes, if I'm not mistaken. So like he's an accomplished novelist. Let's give him a shot at that in Star Wars. I think that'd be awesome.
Yeah. I mean, I completely agree, man. He's a noveler. I like that. But I mean, yeah, we got people that have done so many things, right? I mean, Cavan's done adult novel, audio drama, comic. Daniel Jose Older has done all it. He's done adult novel, YA, middle grade, and comic. Like, Claudia Gray has done YA and adult. Like, Justina Ireland has also she wrote a comic this year. She's done middle grade. She's done YA. Like, so many of them are going in so many different worlds.
Yeah.
And it does make me wonder, you know, someone asked on Twitter recently, why haven't Justina or Daniel done an adult novel in the High Republic?
Yeah, I was going to bring that up.
Yeah. Because Justina Ireland was like, believe me when I say we're all writing what we want to write. And I thought that was a really interesting thing where it seems like the High Republic, since day one, has been about freedom for these creators.
Yeah.
So it's like, what do you want to do? I really hope and assume that these new writers all got that opportunity as well. It's like, hey, welcome to the team. What do you want to write? Because that's how we've gotten such good stuff. You can see the creative freedom. Like we've talked in the past, when you read a book that feels constrained.
Right.
But when you see them write other books and write things where it's just complete freedom, I mean, it sings. So I'm so excited that they're expanding out. Like, who knows? What if we have like 30 writers eventually? The High Republic's so big. I mean, I don't know, man. Why not?
Yeah. I don't know, man. I'm here for it though. Like, like I'm just so I'm so pleased with like we've never seen. You know, Trevor said a couple days ago, like in our Slack, he said like there's never been a publishing initiative like this. Like this is the most well connected, thorough. Like the timeline itself is incredible. Like you know, they've not published this type of information, but we have like deconstructed it ourselves, right? Our timeline team has deconstructed what has happened, and it is incredible how much everything intertwines and like it's very intricate and like it's very impressive storytelling and. I'm excited that it's not a short-term plan. Like from the beginning, this has been a huge thing. Like I'm already I'm here for it. Absolutely.
And even thinking back to when phase 1 started, it feels like so long ago because they put out so much content, and it's only been a year. It's been like less than a year. No, it's been a year.
Almost a year to, year to the day when Fallen Star was released a year to the day.
Okay.
I believe since Light of the Jedi.
That is not that long. That is not that long. We've had a huge amount of content. So many comics have come out. And then we've had, you know, YA and the adult novels and then the junior readers. I mean, sticker books. I mean, they got everything.
Sticker books.
Sticker books.
George Mann wrote that. So like, yeah, there's just so many. There's so many possibilities coming up in phase 2. And the fact that it is so intentionally about exploration is so exciting because I think isn't that the most fun thing about Star Wars sometimes is learning what's Tatooine, what's Coruscant, what is the where are we going, what new planets are we discovering? You know, the Republic as a entity is so interesting, but what was it like before then? Are you the first Jedi to set foot on this new world? You know, that was what was so fun about the Thrawn Ascendancy for all of us was learning about the planets and about all the systems. You know, on our roundtable, we talked about watching Zahn do that, and maybe 150 years ago in their quest, it is their quest to create that. Their quest to create the Republic, you know? Who knows? I am just very psyched for it. Like you said, Corey, I'm not mad that we got some time off to breathe.
Do other stuff.
Read other stuff.
I don't know. Yeah. Maybe more Star Wars stuff too.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know what the next year. We don't know what the next year holds. I mean, you know, looking back at the year of the High Republic, we did get a significant amount of content that was not High Republic related. Like somehow.
It was
so
all there.
it was crazy. It was like borderline like painful, like as a content creator to like try to get through some of it so quickly, right? We just got so much Star Wars content, and if that is in any way the pace at which they were going to try to do the next year, but you know, to be fair, that we're not asking for that. I'm perfectly happy to have, you know, a little more space between content, right? But you know, if that's the pace of the standard they've set already, then I don't know, maybe we're gonna get that again, which is kind of an insane thought, to be honest. So
it's gonna be wild. Last question, though, I want to ask before we get out of here tonight. Be Nasty, what is the lifespan of Geode species? I bet he will be in there, but he will be a pebble. That's my biggest idea.
I have a thought.
Me
I was
too.
reading it on my Kindle like last or 2 nights ago, and like Caitlin was like almost falling asleep, but she was reading next to me, and I was like, Caitlin, I have to tell you about this character named Geode. I have to get this off my chest because this is just too much for me to handle. And I can't remember the exact quote, but it was in Fallen Star or something about like he just stares at you with that point blank stare. And it's just like I'm still like I feel like I'm being gaslighted by Claudia Gray every time the character shows up because it's like Is it a real character? I remember those thoughts like at the first book. You're like, is this a real character? Like, are they? Is this a pun? Is this a joke? Like, but no,
a rectangular
it's a
slab
It's a
of
rock mattress. It's a rock
Find
mattress.
the picture. Find the picture, Wes. You have to look up the. Look at
It was on Wikipedia.
what's the
wasn't it?
species? What's he called
It's
again? He's
Vintian.
a
Vintian.
Vintian. Look up.
Vintian.
It's literally a
Well,
blank
and he's
tablet.
been in the comics. He was in the High
just-
Republic Adventures.
Was in the. It's just. It's so utterly ridiculous. Every time he shows up, there's just a really, really good joke. Every single time. Like, even if the action is this it?
Yeah.
Oh no! This one's different. This is a
Yeah,
different
it's a
photo than it
different-
used
it's
to
the
be. They must have
concept.
updated it. What the hell? Claudia
I can't
Gray.
wait.
Like, oh my god!
There
I'm
is
just
an archived moment on this show when we first pulled it up. I think it would have been. I guess it would have been the Into the Dark
Into the
round
Dark
table.
Roundtable. It should have been. Yeah,
Yeah.
go check that out.
If we go find
Um,
that.
Oh my god!
But
that
gentlemen,
was-
I'll take Geode off the table for a second because obviously that's the best thing. Other than Geode, what are you guys most excited for about Phase 2? The little that we don't know much, but we also kind of weirdly know a lot.
yeah, I am
most hyped.
I'm the most hyped for the timeline shift. In fact, when they announced that, I had nothing but like excitement for that because like I'm elated to be there in like a different timeline that's further back. Like it changes things. Every time you do that, you have like so much freedom to change the story and how things interact and how things tie into the films. And I just like I really like the idea of like these huge time jumps between Star Wars because you just get a complete clean slate to do whatever you want, and that's
Right.
super exciting.
I am interested in seeing more about the Santekas because ever since the Force Awakens,
Sure.
and like we had this mysterious character in the very beginning, you're like, who the hell is this guy? I've always wondered, and I've gotten all the answers, not all the answers, but a lot of them of the origin story. But I want to know how far back the Santekas go. I mean, are there going to be more? Is there another like 2 generations beforehand that we're going to know about? So
Yeah, well,
that's
there's Lore
something interesting.
Santeca, and then Wes, there is more Santeca. That's his great grandfather. So yeah,
Get out. Get out.
Lord.
I agree with you, Wes. I think in our very first guest spot ever, or the first time we had guests on this podcast, I think it was the Nerf Herders, wasn't it? And we played a game where we had to say who we would save that got killed, and my answer was Lore Santeca. I remember this still.
dang man,
I'm tracking.
You
But I am not looking forward to any one thing in particular. I'm looking forward to just the overall expectation I have to be kept on my heels, like for just new stuff to be happening, the twists, the turns, the surprises, because that's what this entire initiative has been thus far. Is
Yeah.
we didn't know what to expect, and it's been pleasant surprise after pleasant surprise, and I think that's going to continue. But it just feels so cool to have, like, yes, the Star Wars that we know and love, but everything is fresh and new, and I don't know, that experience is, it almost just reminds you of coming to Star Wars for the first time as a kid.
Dang, I love that. Blade of Bardata.
Yeah.
I can't wait. I can't wait for
Oh,
the
yeah,
Porter
yeah.
stuff. I am a sucker for, the old characters, thinking back to when they were young and exciting, and to get that adventure, especially whoever's alongside him. I think it's going to be so fun because I think what a wonder it's going to be to have Phase 2 and someday go back to Phase 1. It's the prequels. You cannot watch the OT now without that stuff in your mind, without knowing
Yeah,
what
for
happened.
sure.
And I can't wait to see how I read Porter differently, how I see Yoda differently, how I see all these planets. I mean, I want to see the Jedi. Are they like Rangers? Is it the Wild West
Yeah.
of
Yeah.
building the temples? I mean, it's going to be really great. And it's all coming in October. And just because it's my birthday month doesn't mean it's more special, but it also totally does. So,
You're one
Okay.
of those
All
people.
right.
oh, yeah.
It's my birthday month.
Oh,
It's my
God.
birthday month.
1/12 of the
Oh,
year is
man.
somehow more important than any other month. Okay. All right. Okay.
Well, I'm excited for that. But of course, guys, I am most excited for seeing all of you in about 30 hours or so.
I count down by hours now. Jeez.
Something like that. No, not 30. Well, it's more like 48, more like 40 hours. But again, everyone, thank you for listening and watching. We will be coming to you at some point live from Asheville this next week. I can't wait. But for now, that'll do it for this week's episode, this week's phase, if you will, of The Living Force. If you support us on Patreon, again, thank you so much. We are honored and thankful for you getting us to our next goal. Keep an eye out. We're recording Rogue One this week in person, and it will be up for you shortly. A special thanks to Cheryl Bell, OK Endar, Jeremy Kazina, JG Kars, Earl Q, Patrick Ortiz, and Carl Sander on our Jedi High Council, and Matt Billington, Tyler Latour, Elizabeth Cloutier, Jason Mitchell, Freddie C., and Sally and Chris Eilerson on our Alliance High Command for their amazing support of everything we do. You can find us on Twitter. The show is at Living Force Pod. The company is at Utini_US. Corey is at DocStarWarsMD. Charles is at C. Hankel. Wes is at Boss Wes. And I'm at Eric Eilerson. A special thank you to Matt Davenport, our amazing editor. Ryan, our graphic designer extraordinaire. And Wes, our producer, community manager. Thank you to Corey, Charles, and Wes for podcasting with me tonight. Thanks to all of you for watching and listening. And as always, may the Force be with you.